presenting to you our Geeky podcast from the R&D department of iThrive. So herein we are going to answer a few frequently asked questions, research questions or some doubts related to nutrition and related fields that we often come to think that, okay, why does this happen, or why does this happen to me? What is the connection? Is it just a myth or whatever? So we as a team, we have built a list of questions that we come across and we are trying to find answers and would like to discuss those with you today. Right, so today I am Manali Chindarkar, the head of research and development department of iThrive. And today we have with us Krishna Mehta.
Hi.
Hi. So we both are batchmates we have done masters together. With the same specialization, which is nutrigenomics, right? So yeah, would you like to give something like your brief, your introduction?
Yeah. Hi everyone. So I'm Krishna Mehta. I work as functional nutritionist, R&D department at iThrive. So along with this, what I like is like going to bike rides, adventurous sports, trekking, and I also like to dig deep into some topics, like do some research and try to identify those answers.
Right. That's all that the whole R&D team likes to do here,
yeah.
Right? So yeah, we both joined iThrive towards at the same time in September last year. Right? Yes, can you tell us how did we start with this project?
So basically, when I was in Masters and BSc as well, and in the Masters, you might be knowing one guy. So he was very curious, scientific mind. So when he came to know that we are from nutrition department, he used to ask us lots of questions like, if I eat this nutrient, what is going to happen in my body? And I thought like maybe let's make a list out of all these frequently asked questions, like what he used to ask, and I resolved them. But what happened was like while I was like at the mid of our masters, COVID pandemic came. So that project was kept aside only. And when I joined here, like you must be knowing the same, like our colleagues also, they used to ask lots of questions.
Right.
So we came to a cumulative decision to like, let's take these questions and start answering those, like make a blog out of it and like discuss it with the others also.
Yes, right, bringing the scientific evidence to general questions that even our family has most of the times, right? So we would be covering topics such as like we are starting today with like why rice makes us feel sleepy.
Yes.
We are also going to cover topics like is long-term ketogenic diet safe or not? Is papaya harmful during pregnancy or is it just a myth? So yes, let's start with your topic, and I would like to know first, like why did you think of starting with this topic, like why rice and why it makes us feel sleepy?
Yeah, so again going back to my masters, like after having a lunch and all, like it used to be a lot of rice, and people after lectures, like after lunch, people used to feel sleepy a lot. And the same thing I noticed here as well.
Yes, even it happened to me during the early days.
Okay, so yeah, I thought like maybe let's dig into this, try to understand a micronutrient, a macronutrient which might be playing a role in this.
So what is it like? Is it some bioactive compound only present in rice, or is it something that is present in almost all foods but higher quantities in rice? So what is the mechanism? We would like to know that.
So studies which have been conducted has shown that there is this micronutrient, that is tryptophan, which is the amino acid. Like proteins, they are made out of 20 amino acids, and one of that is tryptophan.
Yes.
So when we eat good amount of carbs, which is high in glycemic index. Now glycemic index is a scale which tells us like whether the food has the capacity to increase blood sugar quickly or not. Higher the score, higher is the like ability to increase blood glucose, and due to once this body detects it, like there is high glucose spike, it will start synthesizing insulin.
Okay.
Now along with tryptophan, along with large neutral amino acids, insulin mediates or helps in transport of tryptophan into our brain.
Okay.
Now, this tryptophan act as precursor for serotonin and melatonin.
Yes, I've heard about serotonin. It's a neurotransmitter.
Yeah.
That makes us feel sleepy,
Sleepy.
and happy.
So you got
Yes.
that connection, right?
Yes, yes.
So it is a precursor for serotonin and melatonin, and that induces sleep in our body.
Okay. So is it like we need tryptophan to create serotonin and then feel sleepy?
No, tryptophan is like a precursor. So
Right.
that will be converted into 5-HTP.
Okay.
Then it will be converted to serotonin and
Right.
melatonin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, how is rice related? Like, is it?
So while I was searching again, so I came to know that rice is high in glycemic index. Like the score is
Right.
high.
Yes.
So what happens is that once you eat rice, glucose will be spiked and it will increase insulin secretion in our body. So again, it will going to mediate the transport of tryptophan into our brain.
Okay.
So that is the correlation which we
Right.
can see, like
Yes.
rice increases in insulin and then it mediates the transport of tryptophan into our
Okay.
brain. So again, that is why we start feeling sleepy once we
Right.
eat rice.
Right. So are you saying that insulin is the one factor that is transporting tryptophan
Yes.
to the brain? Okay, that's new to me.
Yeah.
Like, we know that insulin plays a role in glucose metabolism. I never knew that it also plays a role in this factor.
Okay.
Right. Yes. So is it also is it to do with carbohydrates, and that is why maybe on the days of festivals in afternoons when we have like sweets, Indian mithai, and we are like, okay, done, like we want to take a nap or we
Yeah,
want to doze
so it's
off.
also high in glycemic index. Now.
Right.
They increase our blood glucose levels.
So that is
Yeah.
the same mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. So, okay, so that is the mechanism, right? So, it is the precursor, tryptophan is a
Yes.
precursor for serotonin, and then it also gives rise to melatonin, right?
Yes.
Okay, so melatonin, we know that it is a neurotransmitter that helps us fall asleep.
Sleep.
Okay, so this is the mechanism, this is the why. Can you tell us how we can, manage it, or what can we do about it? Any solution that you can offer?
Yeah, so it all depends on the proportion.
Okay.
Like our Indian diet is based on, like, the higher the quantity is based on high quantity of carbs
Right.
and
right.
little bit of proteins as such.
Okay.
So what we can do is that if you're consuming rice during your lunch time, so one strategy you can adopt is increase the quantity of protein and decrease the quantity of carbs in your diet.
Okay.
Like the rice portion which you have, just reduce it and increase the quantity of protein. It could be your dals, it could be your meats. That actually can help you.
Okay. So
Because high levels of amino acids will actually inhibit transport of tryptophan into
okay.
the blood
So we
brain.
need more
Yeah.
protein in our diet to balance the carbohydrate.
Yeah.
So what protein sources can you recommend for us?
Like you can have like eggs, then
Okay.
fish is there,
Okay.
organic chicken, mutton,
Yes.
beef. These are really good sources of protein which we can include.
Okay. Any vegetarian sources that we can have?
We can include legumes as well,
Right.
but we need to take care that they are. We are getting rid out of the anti-nutrients, like
Yes.
we have to soak them overnight and then we can use it for our cooking. So, or we can use sprouts, which will actually help
Right.
us.
Remember, we had a salad making competition
Yeah.
on the dietetics day.
Yeah, yeah.
And like even we were a team at that time, and we
Yeah.
made a fruit salad. So there was a lot of salads, and so what happened is, because of that competition, our lunch was delayed, and when we finally got to taste all the salads, and I took 1 spoon of each, and when I finally had a sprout bhel, that was the moment that I finally felt, satisfied or satiated, like, okay, finally my stomach is
Yeah.
filled. Because otherwise it was just carbohydrate, it was just fruits or vegetables, so it was not filling, or it was not, taking care of my lethargy or sleep.
Yeah.
And I also remember during my college days that between lectures, because of we were in science, so we had
Yeah.
continuous lectures and practicals. So there were times when I used to feel sleepy during the lectures or between the lectures. So I had found out that maybe I can snack in between, so that our brain shuts when there is no food. It's like you don't
Yeah.
have much energy, so like shut it down and go to sleep. But having like healthy snacks, as you said, protein, or like complementing your carbohydrates or mainly rice with protein can help. So that is a good solution. Anything else that you would like to this segment?
Yeah, like mostly South Indian people, they are like the main grain is rice. So
Yes.
what we can do is that maybe we can add millets also.
Okay.
That will, because their glycemic index is low.
Right.
So one strategy one can incorporate is like including millets in their lunch.
Okay.
That will actually help them.
Right.
And protein.
Okay. Millets, what options do you suggest for millets?
Bajra is the ragi.
Okay. Can you think of any limiting factor this research area has? Something that you couldn't find an answer to, or something that is researched less? Anything like that?
The proper mechanism, like what I have found out, was actually based on review of literature.
Okay.
So maybe we need to do some more studies in the future,
Right, like more original studies.
Yeah, that can
Okay.
actually help, and we should also try to understand like the geographical locations as well,
Okay.
the food which they eat, so we can get a proper idea, like is it only the rice which makes it makes us sleepy, or are there other factors in the environment also which
Right,
might
right.
be
Which
used?
can be confounding
Yeah.
factors, as in we think it is rice, but it is some else factor and rice that is making us feel sleepy.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Anything that you found out new, like even you didn't know, how I found out today that insulin also plays a role in the transport of tryptophan into the brain. Anything new that you come across?
Yeah, the whole, like the mechanism, trying to understand it, like how sleep is induced, was actually new to me. Like even I was getting this question, like
Right.
after our science, like after our lunch, we used to have these practicals. Even I used to feel sleepy a lot. Then one day I just included protein in my lunch, and I didn't feel sleepy. So I was just curious about this, and I wanted to know about
Right.
this whole mechanism. And this like digging deep into this topic actually gave me that opportunity
That's
to
awesome.
understand it.
Yes, great. So this is like a regular food which I think almost all of us have
Yeah.
all the time, pretty much every day. And we never think that it could have some scientific or nutritional answer to it, mechanism to it.
Yeah.
So yes guys, that is what we are doing here. We are finding out answers to your questions. It can be like simple or it can be complex. Okay, so we as a team are also curating a list, and we are trying to find more and more answers. You can also send us your generally like frequently thought questions, right? And we will try to answer it and we'll discuss it with you. Also, I would like to mention that this this is our approach. This
Yeah.
is what Krishna has found out through his research. And about research, was what I can say is, there are some methods, some study designs which are better than others, right? As we know, like randomized controlled trials are the gold standards. But sometimes even the methodology, how it is conducted, on what
True.
samples it is conducted. So even the best study design can be poorly designed, and it can be not a great source of evidence, right? So like nutrition and science is such a field that we can always find contradictory results, right?
yeah.
So the new knowledge and the science will always start evolving, updating. We just need to make sure that we are unbiased from our side, and we can always update it and
And we
discuss.
need to be open as well to
Right,
accept it. Like we cannot
right.
just conflict
Yes.
it. Yeah.
So we should run through it like the holistically in all approaches, not just one side.
Yeah.
And we can update our knowledge, our previous knowledge. We can discuss it with our colleagues, our teams, our mentors.
Yeah.
And that is the way to grow, right?
Yes.
Yes. So thank you, Krishna, for being here with us.
Thank you,
We will
Manali.
be doing more such
Yeah.
interviews, answering more such questions. So yes guys, let us know how do you like this episode, and please like, share and subscribe to our podcast. And if you have any questions, any comments, any questions to be answered, please send it in the comments below. Thank you so much.